Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Ninja Steel Episode 4, Presto Change-O. I think I got that right, the number and the episode. Possibly, there's like 70% chance I didn't. But yeah, so this was a Preston episode focused... Wait, Preston episode focused? No, that seems right. I stopped myself too early. A Preston focused episode, I was going to say, that was focused on introducing us to some elements around him as well. Obviously, we knew he had the magic bit, but this episode introduced us to the fact that the Nexus Star prism thing actually gives him magic powers, like literally, and also introduced us to the dragon mode of the Megazord. And I thought it was mostly a decent episode. My only main problems with it came with it being a bit heavy-handed with the moral, as per usual. Especially since kind of like, I feel like there's been at least one or two situations so far in Ninja Steel where they had that, but I felt like they were like right on the edge where they could have like tweaked it so it didn't seem so heavy-handed, or they could have fallen over the heavy-handed like hand-holdy edge, and they've kind of done that both times. Because the moral was basically, once Preston got his magic powers, you know, he used it in a magic act, because we opened up with him kind of failing and doing a regular magic act, and then like right after that he got his powers and did one with like actual powers that was like insane, you know, pulling like a giant like panther or like some sort of crazy you know, dangerous cat out of the hat. I didn't even mean to say that. But anyway, oh, I'm a poet and I didn't even know I rhymed those words. Anyway, so, that just caught me off guard there for a second. Anyway, so like, basically he did a real magic act and it was crazy. He was doing all kinds of stuff like the cat thing I just said, and he cut Monty in half. Honestly, should have just kept him separate and shipped him to separate sides of the world. Just get him off the show, really, when we think about it. But, so it was too much, and they basically used that for the metaphor, the lesson. I can just really talk today, guys. The lesson of, you know, don't use powers for personal gain, that classic Zordon old rules shtick. I feel like it should have more been just, hey, these powers are too crazy to use in front of people, it'll blow your secret identity, or just, you know, until you learn to control them, you know, to do tiny magic, you know, like if he could learn to hone it so he could do pulling the rabbit out of the hat and like basic tricks in front of people. Like, I get the personal gain thing, but it was just a bit heavy-handed. And then like even at the end they're like, let's show him the magic of teamwork, and it's like, come on, it's just, there's a way to teach lessons that aren't so cheesy. And it's funny because like whenever I mention it, I always get that one or multiple people that being like, well, you know, it's a kid's show, which I hate when people say that, like, as an excuse for things. But, you know, they're trying to teach a lesson, but it's like, even when I was a kid, I hated when shows talked to me like that. Like, it made me mad ever since I was little. Because, like, there's ways that kids shows and how even just regular shows can sort of get a message across without making it seem fake. Because, like, people aren't really like that in real life. But so that was really my only main problem with it. There was actually quite a few bits in this that I enjoyed. Galvanax, I think that's his name, came down to Earth for the first time and confronted the Rangers. It was kind of short-lived because he was like, oh, I'm going to confront him. And then Brody was there and he called upon everyone else, and then not QAmon pointed out like, hey, you're going to lose your reputation of your fans if you lose right now. So then he just pulled out a turtle villain. Like, I mean, I could have cost him some reputation by simply just leaving it, but I think that's a really interesting aspect, which is one thing I quite like about Ninja Steel, again, is the game show aspect. I like how that makes things a bit interesting. Because usually when you have like the main villain fight the Rangers and leave, or how sparingly they fight, it's either because something like Xandrid where they need to charge up, or maybe they didn't want to lose respect from a general, or they just feel that it's beneath them to arrive on Earth until a certain state is happening. But it's interesting just to have him not want to be embarrassed by a loss to his audience. Like, I like that aspect is definitely kind of an innovative aspect, and I like that. And then like the turtle monster, I can't remember if this happened in Ninja, because, you know, I've not been a fan of Sentai recently, so like I block out even more the filler episodes, so I don't remember every single monster, like what they did. But he like slow-mo'd Haley, Calvin, I got their names right, and Sarah, which honestly, like, that could have been overdone and it might have been a smidge over the top, but I actually found it really funny. Like, they started basically getting slower and slurred speech and stuff like that, and it honestly was funny to me, like the way it kept happening, and then their facial expressions really sold it, which I thought was really funny. I especially loved when, during Preston's magic show, Haley called Brody and like she just like help like through the communicator. I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. I think it was mainly sold by the facial expressions and kind of the ridiculousness of it. But so I thought that was funny. Another kind of semi-cheesy line, but was also kind of clever that made me laugh. Not like full on bursting out laughing, but I thought it was just kind of funny, like lol laugh. Was when the turtle used the fact that they were slowed down to actually steal their stars, and Galvanax says, "I love that guy, 3 stars," and it's funny. It's just like it's cheesy, but it's funny because it's like he could be rating him like but he literally got 3 stars. I don't know. Sometimes that humor gets me, but so I thought that was funny. I thought there was some good little interplay with the Rangers when they first met about Galvanax. It's his brother. But Galvanax, that like them basically trying to act tough in front of him, and I thought that was kind of funny. It kind of reminded me of the scene, I think it was around roughly this point in Dino Charge, that I actually liked when they were, like Shelby said, like, I got this, or we got this, I guess, and it was kind of funny like that, so I liked that. I think the element of, I mentioned in the early reviews that I was surprised and a little bit disappointed that they decided to just keep out Ninja's magic bit, because it seemed like something that they could so easily be cut out. But it seems like they're definitely going to be expanding it a bit, because I think that was original footage when he did that cool dragony thing. But I think it's interesting that they had it. I mean, I kind of assumed it would, but the way they actually explained it coming from the Nexus Star, I'll be interested to see if they use that for anyone else. They could very well be using this as a one-off just to explain the magic bit because of Blue. But I would like to see them maybe use it at least one more time with something else. I can't think of a case from the Ninja that would call for it yet, but do your own footage, film your own TV show, that'd be great. But I think that's an interesting thing I'd love to see come back. That brings me to another small complaint I had, which is with that heavy-handed lesson, the fact that, like I said, it should have been used to be like, hey, maybe don't use real powers in front of people, but it was like literally the powers were overblown because the prism powers were being judgy, which just bothers me. That was one of my least favorite elements of Dino Charge, was that the Energems were basically being judgy, and I thought that was stupid and way too of a moral high ground thing that they were being judgy about that. I think that it could have easily been, even the cheesy moral without any editing could have been achieved by just simply the fact that using real powers that Preston had no control over yet, or minimal control over yet, because he just got them, will be just as easy to sell that moral than, hey, the powers are judging you. I thought that was really stupid. Like, I miss the powers that just, hey, you're worthy, you got the power, boom, we're not going to judge you for every little decision. So I hope that doesn't come back. I would love to see them potentially expand on the Ninja Nexus Star giving you other powers other than like gear and stuff, but don't make it all judgy. Like, that would be the worst. I don't like that element. Other notes, we got the debut of the dragon form of the Megazord, and they actually have a specific cockpit for that, which was actually pretty cool. I mean, it's not like radically different than the core one, but it's got like cool dragon symbols around the back, and I honestly didn't even think about them doing it for that. In the back of my mind, I was thinking they might do it something maybe for like when they get the Ottoman in, but I thought it was really cool. I liked that bit. I was kind of surprised that Preston didn't do the finisher with the blade, because usually in Dino Charge the focus episode went to, like, whoever used the sword, but whatever. But so yeah, I liked that. I thought that was a cool little just aesthetic touch. I thought that was neat. There wasn't as much Monty and Victor in there, which is always a plus. And they fixed Brody's car, which was a thing. And there's not a huge amount to add about that, but I do hope that they stick to the level of dad they have now, which sounds really funny, but like where it's present in terms of Brody's character, but it's not his whole character. I mean, like, if there's going to be an arc later where we specifically realize we can find him, fine, but like, I think they're doing a good balance right now, and this episode kind of reminded me of that, because the Rangers got the car for him, and it's like, oh, I'll always have a piece of my dad with me, but just don't let it become your whole identity until it becomes a meme. Then we'll have like Dad 2 Electric Boogaloo. So I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, I don't have too much to say overall. Overall, I'll just keep saying the word overall until this video ends. No, but I thought it was decent. There was some bits I definitely enjoyed. Definitely still a bit heavy-handed. But I'm still enjoying it somewhat. It's not perfect by any means, but I'm not absolutely hating it. I think the most frustrating thing is seeing that there's a lot of elements I really like, and I think if they threw away some of the childish dialogue and really went for it, we could have some really, really, really cool stuff. So that's probably the most frustrating, but I'm not in hate right now. I'd probably give this episode a 7. Just kind of an all-around solid, decent episode. Definitely some iffy bits, but also some cool bits. But yeah. Anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangersrambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.